All right, hello everyone, and welcome to a very special video today. I'm here with Connor from easely.io. Now, Easely is a platform for anyone who sort of has no coding experience but wants to launch an NFT collection. That's, I think, big picture, high level, my thought, like idea of what it is. But Connor, welcome. Why don't you tell us more about Easily and what it is?
No, you're absolutely right. It's our vision of no coding, the process of developing in the NFT space. Many of you may know or may not know, but NFTs are often created based off a smart contract that powers them. There are a lot of different types of smart contracts that define NFTs, and our job is to no code that full process. Bring education to the space and lower that barrier for anybody to be able to build and create NFTs. We often like to say someone's ability to build in Web3 should not be limited by their ability to code or ability to hire a developer, but by their imagination. And so we're making that, hopefully possible, one NFT, smart contract feature at a time.
I love that. Yeah, it really is a significant hurdle finding, like, you could be a creative or you could have a great idea, but getting the smart contract side of the work done, it's not easy. I mean, to be a smart contract developer, that's really difficult. You need to have experience coding because if you make a mistake, it's a lot of money.
Yes.
But then the other thing is just finding one. Like I've had so many people reach out to me over the last year, basically saying, "How do you even find a developer? Where do you go? Is it LinkedIn? Do you Google?" It's so difficult, and they're in such high demand as well. So
Exactly.
yeah.
I think you touched on so many different points regarding one of them that big technical barrier in the space. It's not even just the price. Sometimes it's finding the right one, one that you can trust, one that has a nice track record, one that has time for you. There are a lot of amazing smart contract developers we all know in the space, but they won't take on every project. Their time is not scalable. And sometimes there's an application. Sometimes you need to have a following in order to work with them. And I would love, for all those things to not, like exclude anybody from being able to build in the space. So hopefully we can platformatize all that and actually democratize access so that anyone, that wants to build can build.
I have more questions, but maybe let's jump right in and just show us how it works, because I think people learn by viewing better than anything else.
So this is our website. You come to the landing page, and then pretty easy to sign in. You just click sign in, and this will actually take us to the platform. If you haven't created an account, you'll be prompted to create an account. It's all based off of your wallet. MetaMask, any of the wallets will work to be able to create an account, and that's what you'll use the single sign-on for our platform, same as many of the NFT dApps that are being used in the space. And
amazing.
This is our homepage. And the first thing I'm going to do, I'm actually going to move over to our test network. And so if, those of you that aren't familiar, Ethereum actually has a test network. There's many of them. We use one called Rinkeby. And the purpose of this is that you can essentially create, develop, smart contracts, mint NFTs, all with test ETH, which is free, rather than having to spend your real ETH, which is not free, and can actually, start to become it's very expensive to test with. So everyone, every platform sort of has a test network. OpenSea has a test network. We have one too. So you can, use our platform without having to spend any. So the first thing that you actually do when you get on our platform is, you click get started, go to your collections, but essentially you'll be prompted to create your first collection. And in our platform, one collection is the same as one smart contract. And this is how the Ethereum blockchain specifically works, where every NFT collection, you see all the big ones, especially Bored Ape, Azuki, Punks, whatever you want to call it, they are all defined by their own smart contract. And thus, it's really important for creators these days to have their own smart contract, because one of the primary benefits for any NFT is the token gated utility. So what does owning that NFT give you? Maybe it's the right to join a Discord using Cloudland. All of these tools that can check whether or not you own an NFT only work if you have your own smart contract. And so if you are using a shared contract for whatever reason, you're essentially excluded from using a lot of these benefits that can detect who exactly has your smart contract on the blockchain. And that's why it's
that's a really good point.
Important to have your smart contract. These days, for example, Zen Academy, they use Cloudland to token gate, who can join the 333 server versus the Genesis membership server. And All of these things are really only offered to those that have their own collection, and why everyone today generally has their own smart contract when they create their own NFT projects.
Yeah, I mean, it just gives you a lot more flexibility, right, to kind of do what you want because it's yours, as opposed to sort of the OpenSea shared contract is what a lot of people used to use and still do.
Yep.
But yeah.
And so we've seen that huge shift of the last few months, and even just this past year especially. I would say 12 months ago we still saw a lot of collections being created literally one by one on OpenSea. Today you'll hardly ever see that because you just don't get the benefits of having an NFT collection to begin with. And so on Easely we actually offer two sets of collections. One is what we call a standard collection. This is for artists, for anyone that wants to make a traditional NFT, a one of one. They can make multiple one of one. They can sell them individually, lazy mint them individually, and you can make them forever. And that contract exists forever. There's no cap, and that's what a standard collection is generally used for. We also offer a randomized collection, which has seen a lot of value added to creators because this is the type of collection that is a little bit more complicated to code. And this is generally where you would have a developer involved or need a developer if you wanted to go this route. And so this is, a PFP project. It doesn't have to be a PFP project, just any randomization feature, which is so fun because it is often used for larger collections that have thousands, hundreds, if not thousands of NFTs, and which is also great because that's also a way for you to just, have as much access to the community as possible. And, hopefully lower that average cost of, your art so that, more people can participate. And so
you sounded like 10K PFP project would use something like this.
Exactly. A 10K PFP project, just even if you want to token gate a community, we've worked with, membership passes as well. Pull Suite is a very good example where they are a DAO. They have a membership pass that's actually in some 21 tokens because they felt it was very individual, that each one was still unique. And so there's what I like to say is any type of creator, at the end of the day, you're still funneled through an NFT smart contract, no matter whether you're a music creator, whether you're a studio, an influencer, an artist, you will still probably be right here at this crossroads on thinking through what type of smart contract you want.
All right, let's let's pick one of them and see how it works.
So let's just, this is a randomized collection. Like I said, it's the one that's a little bit more complex. What you see here is basic collection parameters. And this is the fun part because all of the stuff is yours. It's your smart contract, so you have the right to define it. And I can walk through what it looks. For example, this is one that we did. It's called SLS, or Success Life Society. And you can see that contract names, the token symbols, the trackers, even this watermark, all of these things are unique. This is what they call provenance here on the blockchain. And this is what every program, every application will read when they try to read your blockchain. And so your first step is to define all of those different variables. And so, I'll call something like token ZA or demo ZA and BZA. You can set royalties on chain. We can dig into how royalties work. Today, they are often calculated off chain. For example, OpenSea does not read what is the on chain royalty. They'll actually ask you to input it. But we are migrating, I think, to a on-chain royalty system, which is really important. So if you look at Coinbase, for example, they don't actually even allow you to change royalties off-chain because what they're doing is they're reading the on-chain number. And so this is really important today. And we all follow the same protocol. I think it's called EIP 2891. So do something like 3%. And like I said, you can add ASCII art, which is the form of a creator signature or watermark that a lot of people use on their contracts today.
Nice.
You can actually, now split out the rev share. A lot of people ask, how can I, add other, wallet addresses, or split the, the percentage that we take. And, a lot of people also like to use a multi-sig wallet, a Gnosis Safe, which is very common today. You can also add that in here and then, do whatever you want with the multi-sig wallet from the Gnosis Safe side of things. As you can see here, we take 5% as a platform fee. That is just on the initial mint. That is not on any secondary royalty. We don't help with secondary, so we don't, obviously take any funds from there. And there are no otherwise there are no, startup fees, fixed costs to use our platform. It is only on any mint that is successful. And so there's no, initial cost to using our platform.
That's great. Yeah. That's so much lower than most devs, which I've been quoted or seen devs charge like 10 to 35% of the high end,
Yes,
which is
it is. It's the wild,
it's
wild west out there.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
like highway robbery for like simple projects. If it's
exactly,
some
exactly.
really sophisticated custom thing, then sure, but
Yes.
a lot of it is highway robbery.
That is exactly what we talked about as well. We like devs. We are devs ourselves, and
Yeah.
we see people pushing the boundaries of NFT innovation all the time. And those people, they should get paid. They should get
Mm,
rewarded. But if they are, repurposing a pretty standard contract,
yeah.
then there are more automated solutions that could, do it a little bit cheaper. And would like to
Yeah.
mention, like, in the future, we're actually going to have a ton of partnerships where you also see on this page, and potentially by being a token holder of an NFT community, not going to name any names at the moment, but
Hmm.
that could provide you a discount to use our platform,
Nice.
because we also want to encourage growing and onboarding here into the Web3 space.
I mean, this revenue share thing, it's so useful because there's so many projects that say like have 5 different team members or 10 different team members and they want to split it up. And yeah, I
Exactly.
think this just makes it a lot
And
easier.
and it also goes to the point where trust in this community is a very big thing, and a way to solve that is with on-chain, on-chain items. And so when you enter items, enter addresses here, like these are literally hard-coded on-chain. They cannot be changed, and that guarantees all team members have the right to their share that they had discussed when they first started the project together, and avoids a lot of conflicts that can occur down the line, especially when you have verbal agreements or even paper contracts, right? How do those stack up when one person owns the wallet?
Yeah, this is great.
So this is where things get fun, where a lot of people, especially when they're creating a 100,000 piece randomization contract or collection, they ask for something called a 721A contract today, or AKA batch minting, and it is a gas optimized contract that allows people to actually mint multiple NFTs at once for the same gas price. And this was honestly pretty revolutionary in the space. It has drastically lowered NFT minting costs for their audience, especially for lower priced or even free mints that people want to do. And so that's something we offer right here at the gate. It's something that a lot of people pay developers specifically to add. When it is a very standard set of protocols that you just need to ensure work with your collection. And we've literally had collections that have used other platforms or other devs that were not 721A and had actually stopped their minting, and literally asked for this because it was hurting their community so much from a gas perspective. And it's something we offer if you would like to use that feature.
Yeah, no, it's been so great for the space. Just seeing how people innovate and save gas it's awesome.
Exactly. And on the other side, we also do a no reveal, and this is very similar for people that have been in the space for a while. Something like Meebits. This is what they actually did. It's called on-chain randomization, where the randomization actually occurs when you mint. And so you can immediately see what you get, which is the fun part, similar to Art Blocks and what they do. But as a result, it's a little less gas optimized. So minting 2 is pretty much linearly as expensive as minting 1. But so you have all these different trade-offs that we like to talk about here in the tooltips, and we have further docs that you can educate yourself on. But if you can see what we're doing here is we're essentially just no coding these different sets of features you would normally ask a developer to implement here on our platform. Anti-botting stuff, very just standard. How many mints per wallet? How many mints per transaction? So you can set all these. And again, if your drop for whatever reason is super hype, there are a ton of, it's almost like an arms race. Botters do X, Y, Z things, and then you have to do ABC things to combat that. And we like to work with projects a little bit more individually if they need like super custom solution to prevent gas wars. But from a very standard perspective, easy ways to just limit how many mints a wallet itself can ever do, and how many mints they can do at once in one transaction. So we do some easy at 5 and 10 here. And we have Birdie, and this is all the other utility that you can add onto your token that we want to we literally have on the docket to add onto our platform. One fun thing I like to talk about is what Meta Angels did with NFT lending, and how that works is it's a one-way transfer basically that you can always take back. And what's cool about that is if you have multiple NFTs of your community, you can actually lend these to people that are just want to get into the space, right? Just want to, join the Discord, want some sort of token, benefit. And it's so cool because I literally actually, fun anecdote is I applied for a Meta Angels NFT, and literally within minutes, somebody had decided to lend me their Meta Angels.
That's so good.
I'm now part of the community. And I thought that was so crazy because, they've established this trust where everyone knows the technology works and everyone is very willing to invite other builders into this space. And so it's one, we actually can't wait to add on to the platform, and, hopefully our creators and our builders in this community will also implement as well. So shout out to Meta Angels and a bunch of other cool stuff that is, being done on the front lines every day.
Yeah, for sure.
So just like that, I hit create, and my contract and all the different features, all those different parameters, it is now done. It is now in the back end on our platform, and we are ready to deploy it for you. And so that is step one, is contract design. The next step is actually creating your NFTs. And
so this is like the art, or?
Yeah, so exactly. And so when people think about what are NFTs really, how it boils down technologically, it's the art, the images, the files, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't have to always be, a JPEG or a GIF. It could be, anything. It could be any file type. And metadata associated with those, files. And so that's actually what we help you do, is we help you create them in batch so that, you're not individually uploading, one-of-one NFTs hundreds or thousands of times. And so we have hopefully a pretty decent system of allowing you to, batch create your NFTs all at once. And so like we mentioned, there's two parts. The first is the art, the images, the files. How that works is we actually just ask creators to upload these into Pinata, aka or IPFS, which is the standard today for storing NFT files. And the reason being is that when you upload an image or a directory into IPFS or into Pinata, you actually cannot change that anymore. So it is inherently non-fungible. You cannot, go in and delete one image or delete one file or replace one file. And so that has garnered a lot of trust in this community. And I'll actually show everyone, actually, I have it right here. But this is, Pinata. This is just a way for you to really, easily upload files into IPFS. It's very easy. You literally just hit upload, you select a folder, and then you just copy the CID right here, all right onto our platform. And so I will use a demo one right here so that everyone can see. And so this is one I had already uploaded for all these, essentially these, demo punks that I created. And you can see here, all I did is just drag this folder into Pinata, and I copy and paste that CID right here. And the second part is in the form of metadata. And so for us, we like to take metadata in a spreadsheet or a CSV file. And that is because we think a spreadsheet is very easy to manipulate. If you see there are issues, for example, I have a lot of underscores here. That's very common, right? And I can just easily go through and replace all those with spaces should I need to do so. And it's a lot easier to manipulate than a JSON file, which is also very common. A JSON is like just a blurb of random words and letters that is not the most, easy to work with if you're not technical. And so I'll add that here. And, a lot of people like to ask, how do I even get these images layered? How do I get this metadata of spreadsheets of 5 individual images? And so we have a program, a generative program that does that. We have all these, instructions, step by step on how you wanted to, go through it. We have docs here, and it's literally a program. We talk about, arranging your layers and then using the program to actually generate and edit your NFTs. There are a lot of programs that exist. A very popular one is called Hashlibs. But this is, a way for you to just get started and actually create those, art once you have the layers prepared. And you can, add a base name so that all the NFTs have a name associated with them. And so I'll call this demos yay. And this is something like that. And as that is being processed, it'll take a couple seconds or minutes, depending how big your collection is. You can already see a preview of your NFT.
Yeah, wow.
So this is nice because oftentimes, people may have messed up the file names, or the file names don't match the file names within the metadata. You can see immediately whether or not we're reading the right IPFS folder, we're catching the right metadata. More than anything, that everything matches correctly. And so it's always encouraged for you to, flip through, obviously, just spot check that everything is connecting correctly. And because this is exactly how you'll see it on OpenSea when it gets minted.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to actually deploy the collection now that everything looks good. This is the one transaction that you have to sign for when you create your NFT project. And so this is, the one upfront cost. I like to say it's a transaction fee that goes straight to the Ethereum network. It goes to the miners. It doesn't go to us. And it's just, a necessary part. What I like to, call it is that this is you owning all the space on the blockchain for your NFTs that you're going to create. And so this usually takes a minute or two. So I can pause here if there are any questions.
Hey, man, this looks amazing. Honestly, it's like,
a ton of improvements. I know since we last talked, because the number one thing is we want to build like a trusted platform, right? One that people feel good using. And we've already seen and gotten a lot of, positive feedback to these UI changes and just very small UX changes, right? That put, the experience over the edge when working with, platforms.
For sure. Are you still in beta mode, or is it?
So we are. We're like still in beta in that sense, but like there are people like working on a lot of your course.
From the course,
from the course. Ton of people that we've helped actually launch projects.
That's awesome.
And they have very grateful for you. A little bit grateful for us, but that is I can't tell you like how real that was. Right?
That's so cool.
Just honestly, people that are able to build in this space, via what you taught them, via our platform, and so have helped a lot of them, get onboarded.
Yeah,
I do the same, obviously with the greater community now.
Yeah, amazing. It's going to help so many people. It already is.
Yeah, and so now that the contract has been deployed, you can obviously see it on Etherscan. You can see that. So it usually takes a little bit to actually read the contract, but you'll be able to see that, this has your contract name, it has your signature, and you want to double check all those things, before you actually, deploy this on mainnet, for example. And so the next step, so now that we have the contract created, all these NFTs generated and like on the blockchain, ready to be minted, a lot of people ask, well, how do I actually mint these? How do I create these NFTs? How do I sell these NFTs? And what we then do, and this is where I would say it really gets magical, is we like to enable very native minting experiences. And so what that means is that, there isn't some standardized templatized website that we give you. We encourage everyone to go create their own beautiful, minting experience. And we're going to give you the tools to connect to that without code. And so I would say today it falls into two camps. One is you follow a very templatized launch pad, almost where you don't have any control over, what the mint page looks like, or two, you're forced to, use a kit, like a JavaScript kit that you have to plug into that requires a bare minimum amount of coding experience, but still some coding experience. And so we're going to show you what ours looks like.
Cool.
So it's also very flexible because how it works is that you can create individual listings, as many as you want, anytime you want after the contract has been deployed. And the listings can be a restricted listing for an allow list, a whitelist a pre-sale that you might be conducting, maybe for a specific community, for even a specific person. Maybe you have some agreement where they can, mint for free or mint for cheap. You can do all of this flexibly. You can create as many of these restricted listings as you want for different prices, different quantities, all throughout your, minting experience. And this is very flexible because, and this is, where our technology comes in. We are like essentially feeding in technology that allows you to do this as you, exist as a, collection on our platform. And we're going to just show a general listing for now, just to keep this, quick and simple. And I'll show you, there's two things you can do. There's one, which is the very common. You can mint as many as you want between your 0 or 1 and the, max mint per transaction. And so, let's call this mint X, for example, and let's call this 0.001, something easy. We like to call it a variable quantity, meaning that you can mint multiple at once, and I'm going to create listing. And what you're doing is you're signing for the ability that anyone can, essentially follow these rules and mint for 0.001, and it requires you as the owner to approve of that transaction. and I'm going to actually hit embed now, and I'm going to connect this to a website that I have. And we can essentially use almost any web developer that you have, because all we're doing is applying, HTML, JavaScript, things that websites are, created on. And so I'm going to hit connect a button, and I'm going to use Webflow. For example, Webflow is my personal favorite. It's very easy to work with. I'm going to hit copy code. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my Webflow. And so this is as basic of a mint experience as it gets, right? You have an input field, which is the amount that they want to enter when they want to mint. And then you have a button. And this is the button that actually triggers, MetaMask, et cetera, et cetera. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to, all I need to do is add an HTML embed, which can be done with nearly any web builder. I'm going to paste in that code. I'm going to replace what the button IDs are. And so I call them button and amount. And these are things you can set in Webflow. And I'll show you where they are. Hit save. So if I click on the input field, you can see in the top right that this is the ID is called amount. And if you look at the button, it's called button. And this is where you can imagine you can get really fun and add your own nice looking buttons instead of standard ones, and connect them right to these input fields, selectors, buttons, whatever you want to do, just by renaming it in the code. And now I'm going to hit publish. Now I'm going to go to the website, and from here I'm going to type in, let's say I want to mint one at a time. I'm going to put in one. I'm going to hit the button text, and just like that,
that's so good.
Minting is added natively to your website. MetaMask is prompted. If they don't have MetaMask installed, we'll prompt them to go download MetaMask. If they aren't logged in, we'll prompt them to log into MetaMask. It is all being injected, all of those different states that a user can be in, we take care of with that block of code that you just need to paste in. This is where you can imagine, people create minting experiences without honestly, even knowing that easily exists. And we're okay with that, because we don't want to take, space in your customer journey, your user journey that you're creating for your community. Because we are just a technology that we want to allow you to bring in so that you can build a native, beautiful experience that you want to build.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems so easy.
So easy. This is also this is one of the earliest ones we actually did, and it just goes to show this is also a website created on Webflow. You can get really beautiful with it. And if you go to Mint here, you can see this, again, input field, selector, button, and all that is being powered underlying by Easely. But the audience, the creators, they feel it is so natural to the creator themselves. And again, there's no technical coding, smart blockchain or blockchain smart contract stuff you need to know.
So good. So good. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking back to when I launched Zen Academy, and just we had a really basic contract and mint site, but it still took, way more time and effort into building that out than, just what you ran through.
Exactly. We ran through this, a lot of explaining, but that was around 30 minutes. If we have a few minutes left, I'd love to even show you what it looks like on OpenSea. A lot of people ask, this is my favorite part, because a lot of people ask, how do I get my NFTs onto OpenSea? And the beautiful part is you don't need to do anything, because your NFTs are on the blockchain. No one owns it. OpenSea doesn't own it. Rarible doesn't own it. Nobody owns it. It is on the blockchain, and all of us, every application in the space reads from the blockchain. And so the second that your contract is deployed, the second that your NFT is minted, OpenSea and any marketplace is going to pick that up, because that is essentially their technology, their job to do so. And so it will automatically show up on OpenSea, on Rarible, on Gem, on Genie, wherever. If they are a secondary marketplace, that is the first thing they build, is the ability to automatically detect new collections, new NFTs that are created. And so as you can see here, this is the one that is minted into my wallet, Demo ZA, number 19. It's randomly, it was the reveal on chain. And if I click into the collection, just like that, I have the right to edit. This button right here is so important, because this signals that you are the contract owner, and you have the ability to go in, change your collection, add all the beautiful marketing stuff you want to add. And more than anything, you can change the royalties, the OpenSea royalties. One day they might just read from the blockchain. Today they don't. So it's always recommended you keep those two equal, so no one gets confused.
Right.
But you as the owner, you have all the right and ability to make these changes.
This is amazing. This is just truly amazing. I want to launch. I honestly just want to launch a collection now. Just use it. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll just do
Maybe
something.
you will. Exactly.
Yeah. It's so cool. It's so easy. Like,
And,
yeah, that it has everything basically.
and I always like to say, your roadmap is our roadmap. The things
Mhm.
you want to do, we want to no code for you. And we
Yeah.
will continue adding, all these cool things, right? Like I said, a lending should come right into the platform in the next, few days. We already have that written. We're just testing some stuff now. 1155, that's going to come to the platform,
Mhm.
very, very soon. One thing that we actually saw working with a lot of collections is they like to do a lot of creators like to do a dev mint. And they want
Mm.
to bypass that transaction limit. And that's something we realized, oh, okay, like that's something new that we want to build in. And so
Yeah.
we are continuously improving, our contracts, gas optimization, all of this stuff so that, creators can, let us make the initial mistakes. And then once we know it's good, then you can,
Yeah.
worry about, not need to worry about using the contracts on our platform.
So good. So good. So can anyone use it right now? Come to the website and sign up, or
Yes.
is it? Yeah.
Yeah. So anyone, as long as you have a wallet, you can come to our website, you can sign up, you can start trying things out on Rinkby.
Yeah.
And you can, if you already have your art and assets ready, you can just get started. A lot of
And you
people
can
like to ask, will you be around to help us? Today we still, do onboard customers as we have
Mhm.
time for it. And it is really important, for us is customer education. And so anyone that
Mhm.
wants to use the platform today, you can, schedule time with us, and either me or somebody on my team will actually help you and answer any questions. And today we also have a rule where we do not launch more than one project on one day, because
Okay.
not that we are like stopping anyone, but anyone that is asking for us help, we do still provide any mint support, right? Because we are providing
Mm.
that technology. And we've done this many times where there aren't a lot of issues. More often than not, 99% of the time, it is some sort of user issue. But we are
Mhm.
still like to be around to help diagnose and ensure that
Yeah.
our customers have smooth experiences on our platform.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
anyone
that's
can use it.
amazing.
Anyone can use
Yeah.
it, and we have.
Fantastic. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I would ask about like what you're planning and where you're going from here, but you sort of already answered that with just keeping continually adding features. But is there some like big goal or thing that you're working towards
Yeah,
that you yeah.
that's like just step one. And the more than anything is we like to listen to the community.
Mm.
People like to ask for all these different things, 1155, common one, even ERC20 tokens. And so we
Mhm.
even like to say that Easily is here to help, essentially build infrastructure, no code infrastructure for any creator tools in the, in the Web3
Yeah.
space, right? Because technically in, 1155 is not an NFT, and ERC20 token is not an
Yeah.
NFT, but they're all smart contracts that we can no
Mm.
code, for creators. And so we have those on the docket. And I would say another big one, for anyone in in your community or anyone listening to this that's into Solana, we see a huge
Mm.
rise of Solana NFTs. That is something we've actually already worked with. We have launched a few Solana collections working with Metaplex and their NFT standard, and we want to
Mhm.
bring the exact same thing to NFT creation. And very much a lot of props to their community for having a lot of tools that already make this a lot easier. But the ability to click buttons, fill out forms, and then
Yeah.
even just add that minting capability to
Mint
your
button.
website, that is still missing in the Solana community. And so we want to bring that there ASAP as well.
I love it. That's going to help so many people. Yeah, this is so exciting. I love seeing just what builders are building in the space, and just seeing like the honestly, this is the foundations upon what the Web3 is going to be built on. Like very few people now. I remember when I got into this is just getting off topic a bit. But like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was growing up in the 90s, I started coding like HTML to make websites, and then no one does it really anymore.
Yeah.
You gotta Webflow, WordPress,
Yes,
Squarespace,
exactly.
etc. And it's all plug and play. And then for the fancy stuff, it's a little more advanced. But
Yeah.
up
But
until
all they're
now, we've
doing is
been
like
doing the basic
underlying
thing.
those buttons, that gallery, that photo you upload
Exactly.
into a website, into Webflow.
Yeah.
Like there's code behind it, and they're
Yeah.
just doing a phenomenal job
Of hiding it.
of populating exactly what you need with the right code. And
Yeah.
so we want to do the exact same here. And just like you said, like it's this constant flywheel where it is, you need creators so that you have users that are interested in jumping in the community. And then those users need to be empowered to become creators so that it
Yeah.
continues to grow. And that is how the internet has grown over the last 20 years. And that is how the Web3 world is going to grow over the next 20 years. And so we want to be in the space where we help anyone become creators and really, empower that flywheel. I think, what I love so much about you and Zen Academy is that, we all share this real similar mission, which is onboarding the next billion people onto Web3. And a lot of people talk about it, but we want to be part of the group that is actively, doing something into equipping, one of those parties in order to do so.
I've been asked a lot, just all the time, but like people ask me like, what's it going to take for mainstream adoption? And my answer is always it's like two-pronged. One is education, and we need to educate people about the technology and how blockchain works. The other is infrastructure, and we need to like basically abstract away the technology and make it just easy and for people easily for people to be able to use it without necessarily having that level of technological sophistication that those earliest to the space have. And
we have good people building on both those fronts, hopefully, as far as I can see. And I'm very excited. I'm very optimistic.
Amazing. I don't know if we actually mentioned on the recording, but the website is easely.io. I mean, we'll have the links in the show notes and everything you can go check out, and then Twitter and Discord and all the good stuff. But
love to have you join the community.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Connor. And we'll have to get you back on again in the future when there's more stuff happening.